Hello again, everyone. This is Zombie Kids Rule, and I'm back with another Steam Deck gameplay video. And this time I want to do King's Bounty, one of the King's Bounty games. It's not the first one. It's Crossworlds, which I believe is essentially the same as Armored Princess, only it has more content. So Armored Princess came out first, and then I believe Crossworlds came out, if I'm reading everything right. And Crossworlds has more content to it than Armored Princess, but essentially, if you have Crossworlds, you don't really need Armored Princess as a separate game. Now, and I am excited about this because for the first time ever, I figured out how to configure a controller. I figured out how to configure the controller settings on the Steam Deck. Probably for some people that's not a big deal, but I have never done it before. I haven't really used controllers that much at all, and so the Steam Deck and the 1X player that I was using for a couple months before this, that was my first really foray into controllers. So that's a big deal for me, and I'm happy to report that the changing the controller settings on the Steam Deck seems super easy. The most complicated thing for me is actually pulling up the information on the game to see, finding the manual or finding whatever documentation there is to say all of the keyboard shortcuts or keyboard commands or the mouse settings, so that I can then make sure that the controller settings on the Steam Deck have it all covered. So that's really the most difficult thing. So I'm really excited about that, and I'll just cover that really quickly, especially for those people who maybe haven't done it yet and it's new to them. So I'm going to go in here to King's Bounty Crossworlds. This game is playable according to Steam. So this is let's see. So this game is from 2010, and again, it is playable. So it's doesn't have all of its functionality without doing some tweaking, and I can confirm that there were two critical controls that were not mapped. They were not default settings, so I had to do those myself. Let me turn this down a little bit. And so you may not have noticed that, but what the screen just said was that it was going to use the modified settings, because I did go ahead and already modify this, trying to figure out how to do it. And I'm happy to say that I was able to do it away from home. So I just have started exploring using the Steam Deck away from home and when I don't have Wi-Fi access, and it works great. I mean, the games boot right up as long. I don't know if you have to launch them at least once first or not, but it works great from when I'm away. And I actually figured out how to configure the controls while I was waiting at a doctor's office. So it worked great. I will say I did start to make this video once, and I deleted it. So hopefully I won't forget to say things. But essentially, on this Crossworlds, you can play the Armored Princess version. Then there's a couple other added features: Champion of the Arena and Defender of the Crown. So those are two other like mini type campaigns or games that you can play. And then there's Orcs on the March, which my understanding is essentially Armored Princess with all this additional content that's over here. And I'll just profile this now because this is where the Steam L1 button comes in, and where you can zoom in the screen. And that is really important for this game, and for any game where you might have text that is hard to read. So the Steam and the L1 button will zoom in, and then you can use the right mouse pad to zoom around, to look around your zoomed in or your magnified screen. The one thing I did notice is that when I actually I'll have to do it on a screen where the something pops up. When you're in the magnified view, when you are scrolling around, if your mouse, actually you can see it, when your mouse mouse icon rolls over something, it does activate, or it does highlight it. And so, the only bad thing about that is if you're trying to read text that pops up when you're hovering over something. And so when you do your Steam and your L1 button to magnify, sometimes you have to scroll to see what it says, and then you might actually highlight something else, and then therefore it might change. So that's the one thing I have experienced with that. So in King's Bounty, there are a number of settings you can do. I don't play with these too much, but you can change mouse sensitivity. You can change the resolution, which I don't do on the Steam Deck. There's a few different graphics type settings, like visibility distance, water appearance, that sort of thing. There's some speed things. So there's a variety of things you can choose. Music and 3D mode. I haven't tried 3D mode, but anyway, there's a variety of things you can play around with. So we're gonna get out of there. Let's see. So I'm gonna bump that down a couple more because it has background music. This game actually has quite a bit of music all the way through it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the new game, and pretty much most of the King's Bounty games are the same. You can usually choose between 3 characters. This one is Warrior, Paladin, and Mage. The first game was the same, Warrior, Paladin, and Mage. I believe a couple of the future games, they're a little bit different. You have 4 difficulty settings, basically easy, normal, hard, and impossible. That just changes things like how strong the enemy is, how much gold you get, how much rage you build for combat, and how fast, in this game, how fast your pet advances. And then when you click on, when you select one of these, again, you're using your right mouse pad to move around, you're using the right trigger to select things, and it's changing the description. So if you want to, zoom in, you can read it a little bit easier. Down towards the bottom right, there is your name is the princess's name, Princess Amelie, or however you want to pronounce it. You can't change that, but you can change the nickname. So right now the nickname says the Charmed, and if I wanted to change that, I would end up using the Steam X button to pull up the keyboard, and then I could type something in there, which at this point in time I really don't care about, but you'd have to use the Steam X button to type in a nickname, but you don't have to. So if for some reason the Steam X keyboard on-screen keyboard wasn't working well, you could just skip right over that. You have a variety of emblems to pick from, which don't really change anything. They just appear, in your character screen. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and just accept that, and that's pretty much the character. You don't change a lot. I am going to skip through this beginning, and you can see here. I mean, this text is really small. I mean, again, I'm sure you probably can't see it, but I really would have to expand this to be able to read most of the messages, and so that is slightly problematic. And then down here at the bottom of the screen, you have your gold, you have your rage, which is really used in combat, you have your mana for spell casting, you have your character, which I think you can click on your name, your level, your leadership, because you use leadership to get your army, and then you have your army down here. There's 5 slots you can put troops in, and you stack your troops, so you can have 1 to 1,000 or whatever, however many troops you can have based on your leadership. And then this particular game, you have 2 reserves already, so that means you can put 2 different units in reserve. They're not in your active army for fighting, but you can swap them out without having to go back to like a castle, a garrison, to swap out troops. Now, again, this is really tiny. I know from playing that this is a fairy, this is like a peasant, and this is like a dragonfly. But to read it, I really would have to expand this. And then that way, now you can see when my mouse, which I can't see, rolls over, it changes. So again, if you had to roll around your screen to see what you were doing, you could potentially highlight something when you're trying to read something else. So, but I would have to use the magnifier. You have your hero, your quest, your spells, and your map. So when I pull up the map, there's a world map, and it basically the clouds disappear as you visit different places. You'll have icons on here. You'll see where your hero is: portals, underground, castle, building. I can't even ship. Yeah, because you have ships in here. And then you can also actually click on. You can make notes on this. So let's see. Let's see if I can do it. That was. Oh wait, that's interesting. So left click, place a label. Left click on the label to change it. Right click on the label to remove it. So let's see. I don't think I would have to map something to this, because I don't believe I have a left click. No, I don't think so. So I would probably have to map a button for the left click option to be able to put a marker on the map. So that's one thing I'd have to remember. Your hero, when you pull your hero up, you see your stats: attack, defense, and intellect. Your leadership, that determines how many troops you can have. You have awards that you get for doing certain things. This area down here is when you get your pet dragon. You have your troops that show up here, plus your reserves. You have items down here. You have items that you're wearing up here. And then you have skills. And you have basically might, mind, and magic skill trees. And you get runes. So in this game, you collect runes. And those runes, you have might runes, mind runes, and magic runes. And each one of these skills takes a certain number of runes to select. And within the game, you can't fill out all of these trees. In fact, you'd be lucky if you could even fill out one tree completely. So there are limited numbers of runes. But that's one of the cool things about this game, is that each new game is different. It's random. So even though the maps stay the same, meaning where garrisons are, where castles are, where certain NPCs are, things like that stays the same. But where your runes are, items, buried treasure, spells, money laying on the ground, troops. So troops, and then enemies, they're all randomly placed. So that can be a little frustrating, because with the King's Bounty games, because if you decide you like a play style, like you like certain spells, you have a certain play style that you like certain troops, you might start a game and that troop that you really, really like might not even be in that game completely. That spell might not be in that game at all. So I mean, that's kind of cool. It's a little frustrating too, because there is a large random aspect to the King's Bounty games, where you're not guaranteed to get the troops that you like in any particular spot, or the spells, or the items, or whatever. So that is kind of interesting. And then of course your quests, you get to follow along with your quest as you learn things. You have a spell book, and that you can cycle through what spells you have. And it tells you the mana cost, and that's saying you can have scrolls and these crystals that you gather as well. There's a limited number of crystals in the game, and we already did the map. So, and then of course menu pulls up the continue, save, all that stuff. The way you move around is you can right click and use the right joystick the right trackpad to move around, and you could also, I believe, use the, maybe not, whoops, right here. So you can actually use the right trigger and the joystick, but that's actually a lot harder. So whoa, what's going on? Okay, there we go. So I would use the trackpad and you hold down the right trigger to continuously move, and you use the trackpad. Now, here's the thing that wasn't mapped or wasn't set up by controls, and that is the ability to pan the screen. I programmed it to be the left D-pad, and so when I click it now and I use my D-pad, when I use my my right trackpad, it allows me to pan the camera, which in this game is critical. There's lots of places where you need to look around the map and figure out where things are or how to see things at different angles. I want to say that in the in the game, playing on the laptop, you could also scroll along the map and see all kinds of places. I haven't tried to do that on the Steam Deck, and I haven't tried to figure out how to map the controls for that. So that would be one thing. And then there's another thing where you have to dig things, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm just going to go in here, and I'm just going to click through here. So this is like a garrison, if you will. Usually there's army troops down here that you can buy. There's a garrison, so there's like 3 slots where you can put your own troops to keep them there. There's equipment and spells that you can often buy in these places. So I'm just going to advance the story here. This is starting a new game, so I'm just going to click through and advance it. But realistically, if you can't, on the video, if you can't see the text, it's tiny. And again, I would have to use the magnifier, Steam and L1 to be able to read very well. Otherwise, I'd end up getting eye strain. I just couldn't do it. So I'm just going to clip through here. And he wants me to go outside with him. So sure. I have new quests, so my quests are filling out. And so I'm going to go ahead and exit. And then he wants me to talk to him, so I'm going to go ahead and talk to him. And then he's going to open up a portal. Okay, so again, if you're playing this game, you really need to kind of read what's going on, but I have played through it. I don't think I've finished it, but I have played through a lot of it. So so again, being able to rotate the camera is a very good thing. I could visit any one of these things. So for instance, this is actually the intro, so there's limits to what you can do. So I'm just going to go over here, and I'm going to go through the portal, and I arrive at this new location, and again, still going through. I'm going to click through it. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is go talk to this guy just to move things along. Yep, talk to me. Okay, yep. There we go, whatever, don't care. Okay, now I increase my leadership, and again, I'm just going to exit. And again, this is a good example here. I want to see what's over here, can't really see it that well, so I'm going to scroll my camera, right? I'm going to pan my camera around to see better. There's an enemy troop over there, right there. There he is, an enemy troop. So I'm going to go talk to this guy, and again, this advances the storyline. He's going to let me go get a dragon, and then I'm going to be able to show you the digging feature. So over here in this game, and yeah, this will actually allow me to show this too. So the other thing, the weird thing about this game is you can see, yeah, you can actually see it on the video. In the water, there's these rectangles, and I have no idea why it's doing that. I have no idea why those are visible. Definitely not visible when I play with on my laptop. I don't know if it's some sort of setting. I don't know if it's just the Steam Deck. I will check out the other King's Bounty games to see if they do the same thing. But I mean, this is really kind of strange looking. It doesn't look right. I will say that I don't really care. I mean, if this wouldn't stop me from playing this game, I'd be fine playing it. It's just the water looks a little weird. So now I'm going to talk to this lady. Basically, I get to pick a dragon, and this tells me the different colored dragons and basically what bonus they have. And this happens sometimes too. I release the Steam and the L1 button, but it's still zoomed in, and it's not supposed to be. But I'm going to go ahead and click that, and Steam, I'll do it again, and then it stops. So I'm just going to randomly pick a dragon because it doesn't matter. And so now I have a dragon, a baby dragon. It has a name. So I could, in theory, pull up the key. Maybe not. There we go. There we go. Pull up the keyboard, so I could rename my dragon if I wanted to, or I can just take the name that's in there. And then when I go to my hero, I now have a little baby dragon down here. And he can now go up in level when we do things, and he can help out in combat. So that's kind of cool. Now the other thing I want to show you is this right here. Okay, so this is something. So these are leadership flags, and that's an example of something you'll find on the ground, and you pick these things up, and like this one increases my leadership, or it might be treasure, or it might be something like that. Oh, you know what? And this is a good example of randomness, because in my last game, when I started this, there was buried treasure right here. And light would come up out of the ground telling you, oh, there's buried treasure. You need to dig here, and it's not there because this is a different game. Now there is something over here. There's a scroll. So I pick it up, and it's a spell of stone skin. So yay, I have a spell. But again, you have to kind of ride around, and you're looking, you're watching for any indication that there might be buried treasure, and you need to dig that up because there's all kinds of stuff in there. Now this lady, I'll show you an example. So there's equipment, so you can buy equipment. There's a shovel that I can buy, which is useful, very useful actually. There's a pet thing for my dragon, and there's another spell, Calm Rage. So she doesn't sell any army members. There is an arrow here, so she actually sells more than just what was visible. And so anyway, you'll see a bunch of things in here about people that buy things or sell things or whatever. Now I got to go back to this guy. In theory, I could do a tutorial or like a training dungeon. I'm just going to skip through that. I don't want to do that for the sake of this. But that opens up this area here. And it would be kind of nice if I could find a buried treasure, but when you want to, you can't find anything. So essentially, what I had to do was I had to map a key, and I chose just the arrow. I'm sorry, the D-pad up to dig when I get on one of these spots in the ground where light beams up, and that's how you dig. And so I'll show you how to do that, since I said I promised I would do that. So if you're in the game, all I did was I pressed the Steam button, and I moved over to controller settings, and then I moved over to the controller, and then it's on controller settings, and so I just clicked control settings, and then it's set up for keyboard, WASD, and mouse, and I went to edit layout. And then it lets you pick. So on the left hand side, it has the A buttons. So and then it has the D-pad, then the triggers, then the joysticks, then the track pads, and then gyro. And so what I ended up doing was I did D-pad. So I went to once I went down to D-pad, I pushed over, and then the D-pad up, I mapped to the D key, because I had found that the D key on the keyboard is how you dig. And then the left D-pad, I set it to right mouse click, because that was one of the controls that you use, the right mouse click to pan the camera. So it was super easy. Right now the down arrow is set to just down arrow, but if I select it, it now says, okay, look, it defaults to number pad. I could select the insert, the home, the page up, the page down, the end, the delete, or I could do the number lock, or any of the numbers, or basically anything on the keypad, or I could go down to the arrow keys, arrow up, arrow down, arrow right, arrow left, or I could go up to the top and I could say, look, here's the gamepad, here's the mouse. So I want to pick left mouse click, middle mouse click, right mouse click. Scroll wheel up, scroll wheel down, right? Or any of the keys on the keyboard. I could select any of those. Numeric pad, and then there's action sets and systems, right? So you can actually set system things like take screenshot, show keyboard, what have you. So this is super easy. And again, all I did was decide whether you want to do one of the buttons or the D-pad or the triggers or the joysticks, and then when you pick which one you want, you select the A button, and then you just navigate to the specific thing you want to map it to. Super, super, super easy. So that's awesome. And let's see. Oh, whoops. I forgot how I was moving there. And then in this game, all you do is, if I get close to this guy, if I'm too strong, oh, he's coming after me. So he'll chase me if I get too close to him, and then if I run away, he'll stop. If I'm too strong for him in this game, he'll actually run away, and I have to chase him down. And then if I get close to him, we'll enter into combat, and then it gets to this grid type of thing. And I move around, and they get to move around. And there's a treasure chest here, which means I want to get there and open it before anybody else can. This is a lightning thing, so this is going to do damage to me if I get close to it. And you can see what it says. It says damage 11 to 33. That's telling me if these dragonflies attack that's how much they're going to do. They're going to do 11 to 33 damage. And the gray area tells you how far you can move. And there's other things you can do. There's down at the bottom here, there's a little hourglass that means wait. So you can make them come to you unless they're spellcasters. There's a defend button. You have your spell book. You have your pet, so your pet can do anything they want at any given time. So I'm going to click my pet, and he can do crushing blow, but I don't have enough rage. I don't have anything built up for him to attack with. My spell, these are spells I know, so I can just do them as long as I have mana versus scrolls. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that. And I'm going to attack one of you. You know what? I'm going to attack this thing because I don't like this. I don't want it to. I don't want that to electrify me. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have my dragonflies actually go open that treasure chest. And so I got 1,100 gold out of that. And oh no, they can attack from afar. Oh no, that's bad. So I'm going to have my fairies go way up there because I got to get close to them. And my peasants are going to have to walk too. So that's not great. Let's see. Do I have any rage built? Oh, I do have rage built. So I'm going to do crushing blow on this guy. My dragon's going to fly out, and he's going to go smack him. Boom. Now it would knock him backwards if he wasn't already to the end. So I managed to do that. And now what this is telling me is I can't actually attack this guy. I can move all the way up to him, and that's all I can do. I ran out of points. Ooh, now he can move quite a bit. Now he just smacked my fairies, and the point of this game is not to lose troops, because when you lose troops, you have to pay money to get new ones, and then there's things like trying to do a zero loss game or whatever. So now the fairy, if they have if your troop that's highlighted has any special things, they appear down at the bottom. So that's an option. Let's see. I can also cast another spell if I want to. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to cast my flame arrow on that guy and killed him. My fairy is going to go ahead and smack this guy. And then my peasants, they don't move very fast. And then my dragonflies are going to come up behind this guy and smack him. He turns around. And so again, I'm not really being very tactical here. I just want to demonstrate combat. Oh, I lost all my fairies. Now they're gone. That's terrible. My peasants are going to come around and smack this guy. Rah! Boom. And then my dragon Oh, yep. So I have stone wall, but I'm going to do crushing blow again, and I'm actually going to do it from this way and see if it actually moves him. I think it does, if I remember correctly. So I hit him. Oh no, he doesn't move. So even if he does, some troops can't be moved that way. So I'm going to come around and backstab this guy, but he turns around anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm not doing a lot of damage because I don't have a lot of troops. So I might actually lose this whole thing. Let's find out. Can I cast another spell? I can cast another spell. And that's good because good. So my army wasn't very strong to enter into that combat, not at all. And so now it tells me, it says, hey, you got experience. Whoops. So I got a certain number of experience from it. I got treasure. It tells me how many troops I killed and what they were, and then it tells me how many troops I lost, and that's bad. I'm not supposed to lose that many troops, so that's a bad thing. But you can gather things up here. Again, I have the more leadership flags you get, the more troops you can command. So that's all. There's all that, and I was kind of hoping to find a buried treasure thing, but I haven't seen it. So, but that's okay. Oh, there it is. So you can see that glowing thing on the ground, and now if I mapped it correctly, when I do the arrow, the D-pad up, yep, sure enough, a treasure chest popped up, and because I dug something up, and that is critical. You absolutely have to do that in this game. A lot of stuff that you need, you have to dig up from the ground. And that's pretty much it, folks. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. And so I think there might be another control I have to configure or set, but again, it's super easy. And you would have to set up the camera pan. Moving the camera, that's a critical. The digging up. The D button, D on your keyboard to dig up stuff, that's critical. But it's super easy to do, and the game seems to play fine. You can do the Steam X button to type. The only thing, again, I would say is the small text. The small text is what is really problematic for this game. So anyway, that's King's Bounty Crossworlds. I hope that's helpful. If you've played King's Bounty Crossworlds and you like it, hey, leave a comment, let me know. Or if you played any of the King's Bounty games, I think they're fun. They are blatantly turn-based, but I kind of like that. So if these videos are helpful, please like, subscribe, get notifications, leave comments. I love comments, and I try to respond to them. Did get a strange comment just today, but it's all good. And so again, I'm doing these videos to help other people out, and hopefully they do. So I hope this helps people, and thank you for watching. And I'll get more videos out, and I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you very much, folks. See you later.